Right, I've tried to record this video about 3 or 4 times, and I think it's because I had too many macchiatos and cortados earlier, so I was waffling on. Let's get straight into this. Number one question that I get all the time is, Fran, can't find an edge. What's my edge? How do I find my edge? All right, what do I need to do? I'm going to break that down for you. But what I want to start with is, most people start trading, they do all this thing, and they don't even have an edge. They have no data, they have no stats to prove that this can even work. That is like buying a car way before you even pass, you drive. In fact, no. I did that. I actually brought a car way before I could learn to drive at like 15. Don't do that. It's like jumping in the ocean before you could learn how to swim. It's not going to end well for you. But for some reason in trading, people think that they can just do that. They just jump in, they buy this $50 challenge. Oh, well, it might work, like it's some game. And I get that. That's why prop firms make millions and millions off 95% or whatever traders that fail, and over the 12% that only ever take a payout. But the point is, you wouldn't do many other things if you didn't have an edge to do it. You wouldn't really go and try to chop a tree down randomly if you didn't really have the tools or an idea of what you was actually doing. You need some sort of skill in relation to what you're doing. And trading is going to expose you many different ways because of the pressure of money. Pressure is going to really highlight that. So how do you find out what an edge is? Well, you might bounce around at first trying to figure out what suits you, what you do like, swing trading, short-term trading, intraday, you know, what kind of levels you like, and you start to find your rhythm in this industry of what you might want to do, of how you might want to trade. But then once you find something that clicks, that aha moment, that's then where you need to stick to it. But the question is, well, how do you know that that is the one? And I'm going to give you one sentence that I need you to think about, and it's going to answer whether you found your edge or not. When you understand something in the market and you cannot understand why anybody would do anything different from what you're doing, that's your edge. All right, let me say that again. When you find something and understand something in the market and you can't understand why other traders would do anything different, that's your edge. So what do I mean by that? It took me a long time to figure out how to trade, and then when I took it seriously, I found a way to trade. Originally it was a Fibonacci, and then when I moved into futures a few years ago, it was liquidity, daily levels, session levels, and on bookmap. That was my edge. Very simple. I mark a level, I wait for that level to hit, I look for a candle formation, boom, I'm in the reverse. And the reason I went for reversals is because most traders were looking for breakouts. I lost all my money on trying to do breakout trading. Patience. And that's where the money is. The money is trying to trap breakout traders. But that was my edge. So then I knew well, why would anybody else use or trade in any other way? It's so simple. And that's when I started coaching people a while ago now, 3 years ago, that I'd now found that edge. And now my community has gone away and done what they did to it. They've added their own source, they've added their own identity, they've added their own style or swag or whatever you want to call it to the way that they trade. All right, and that's good because now they've got their edge. They would probably think, why would anybody trade any other different way? So if you've not got an edge, one, you need to find an edge, because in the market, throwing money at prop firms, ridiculously looking for shortcuts, trying to copy traders all the time and trying to think that that's going to get you where you need to get to, believe me, it will never work. So if you're catching this video at the beginning of your journey, get away from discords, get away from cheap courses, get away from signals groups, get away from anything that says free, because you are going to be the liquidity. All right, it's as simple as that. So how you find your edge is you go out there and you find a strategy, or you find someone to work with. That's your shortcut, a mentor, a coach, a consultant, whatever it may be, and you find something. You find the foundations of what you need to do, of how to trade, and over time you will start to read the market. And you start to understand why the market and why your asset, mine's NQ, why it moves in the way that it moves, what days it moves the best, etc., etc. That's how you're going to get the edge. That's how you're going to make sure that with your risk management is correct, you're going to be able to take money out of the market. Now, are you going to have bad times? Absolutely. Are you going to have times where pressure hits you? Absolutely. Are you going to have times where life's not really good in the back end and that forces you to do something on the charts? Absolutely. But that's not the point. The point is you have the confidence that you know that your edge is going to give you the percentage over the course of the year in the market. Now, once you get that edge, this is then where the magic happens. You need to collect that data over a period of time using that edge. Now, are you going to break rules? Yes, no one's a robot. But if you can minimize breaking those rules and get as much data as you can on your edge, that's going to give you the belief. And once you get that belief, you're going to then continue to do that. You can't do something for a long term if you don't have belief in what you're actually doing. It will only last for 2 minutes, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and then you'll jump to something else and find something else along the way. So you must collect the data through your journal for your emotional mastery and all those types of things to prove that it works in the long run. And that, my friend, is how you get your edge in the market. And then you go into stage 2 with your psychology, how you deal with that, who you are as a person, your identity, your character building. Stage 3, boom, that's your breakthrough. And that's when then you are the trader that you want to be. Now, if you need any help with that, you know exactly where I am. Hit the link below. Look out for some things that we're doing in the future. And there's a free 30-day journal in the description. Go and download that, the PDF, and start taking your trading seriously. Because the reason that you are failing is, 1, you don't have an edge, which is insane. Don't worry about it. Most people have been there. I went there myself. And 2, you're not collecting the data.